All right. So we have common mistakes and how to be successful. So the first mistake is going to be giving out the surplus dollar amount too early when you're on your calls. Okay, so a lot of times when we're doing cold calls, when you're dialing somebody, typically when you're a beginner in this business, your heart is going to be beating and you might be a little bit nervous or a little bit too excited, and you give off the surplus amount too early. And the issue with that is some people can't really grasp that early in a call, especially on a cold call, so it can come off as a scam, very unlikely, very unbelievable. So what you need to do is explain to the client how the surplus came about. So when you're in that initial call, you want to explain right here. An example is your property was sold at the auction for an amount more than what you owed in taxes or mortgage, because sometimes you might be doing a mortgage foreclosure call. All right, since your property had value, there's a remaining balance that you can claim. Then I would give the dollar amount. Okay, so you can't call somebody and just say, hey, you have $80,000 owed to you, or, obviously that's having a little bit of sarcasm, but even if you give off the dollar amount in a professional way very early in the call, I do not think that that is okay. I believe that you must explain to them so that that dollar amount can make sense, because initially on a call, they don't know who you are. They don't know what's going on. And there's a lot of scam calls nowadays. It may not even be scam ham trying to, fool you into something and take thousands of dollars. But there's just, if you just look at your phone all day, scam likely pops up all the time. There's phone numbers that are calling you for no reason. So you have a small window to really communicate with the client and get them to trust you. All right, so that we went over this in the last call. So if you haven't seen that call or you were not on that call, go ahead and rewatch it. The intro is very crucial. Okay, so of course we have to remain professional, knowledgeable, and an expert, but try to avoid that mistake. All right, giving out the surplus amount too early in your call, or even if you're communicating to somebody on an inbound call, it doesn't matter. Cold call, inbound calls, whatever it might be, you want to present it in a certain way. Is there any questions right now for mistake number one?
No.
Okay, good. The next mistake is waiting to have all your ducks in a row. Okay, so in this business, of course, there's research that's involved, but you do not want to get caught up in your research. You don't want to get to the point where you're not even contacting the individual because you're looking for one little piece. All right. So the key to this is looking for the three main components to be able to complete a call. All right. Because when we're on a call, initially we want to confirm that they're the correct person, somebody that we can actually help, whether that's a previous owner, whether that's an heir, whether that's a member of a company. We need to first verify that that is somebody that we can help. All right. The next part of that, we want to explain to them how the surplus funds came about. And then we're going to get to the property address and the surplus amount. Okay. So those three components are the only three things that we essentially need to do that call, because you're looking to potentially send them over a claim packet, an intro email, maybe an overnight packet where you're sending all the documents. That's the goal of that initial call. And you don't need much. You really just need those three. You need the owner's name, verify that's the person we can help. We need that property address or county name. So when you're doing your research and you at least see the address, or sometimes they don't even show the address. If you have the county name, that's fine, because when you're on this call, you can say, hey, you own a property in whatever county. All right. So that's pretty much all you need. And then the surplus amount. So don't wait to, oh, I don't have the property information report, or I don't know if there's liens. Of course, we're going to do further research, but to complete a call initially, you only need those three things. Also, don't get caught up in looking for a surplus letter, or something that is just extreme for the proof, because if you found the list and you see the surplus amount, address, and the owner's name, you're good to go. So you don't have to wait for all your ducks to be in a row, especially if this is hindering you from even making calls or contacting individuals. If you're looking, doing research, let's say you just started the course and you haven't even contacted anybody and it's been a few weeks, you need to just take action. Taking action in this business is the only thing that's going to lead you to success. You'll never get success in this business procrastinating. And if you just wait for all those things, unfortunately, your process is going to be very slow. But when you achieve success is when you take that leap of faith and you apply yourself. Okay. You take the information, you apply yourself. You already got the course. You're already interested in running the business, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever you're doing, you guys are looking to utilize this as a business to make an additional source of income. So go ahead and just take that next step, take action, and actually get after it. All right. Any questions so far with that second mistake?
No question, but I know that's my main problem, just over researching and overdoing it, and I'm hindering myself.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I said, these are the common mistakes. So there's other people who are going through what you're going through. But speaking from my experience, and I'm pretty sure other people on this call that have had success, they just go after it. All right. You just get after it. And that's how you're going to get better. That's how you're going to realize and start learning certain things. Okay, when I'm on the call, I should have done this, or I have this lined up next time. So definitely just get in the game, take action, make calls, get after it. And as long as you put in the work, you're going to see success.
Yeah, I agree. This is very helpful. I appreciate you even breaking this down like this. I needed this.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for being on the call. This is what we're here for. All right, so now we'll go ahead and get into the third mistake. And honestly, I believe this is a game changer. And if you've been having this same issue, please apply the steps that I'm going to break down. Please, it's going to really get you to the next level. All right. So the first part of this is going to be performing research. All right. So this is going to be skip tracing, looking up an individual or a company, and we're trying to find the correct phone number, something to get in contact with them. All right. You look through your skip tracing sites, you get a couple of phone numbers. You might get 8 to 10, you might get 3, but you go through all of the phone numbers and nobody answers the phone. I'm pretty sure this has happened to everybody on this call. It's something that's very common in this business. We understand that this is a numbers game, but there's literally thousands of individuals, probably maybe even, I don't know if there's millions of individuals, but there's definitely billions of dollars that are unclaimed, and somebody's going to have to do it. We're going to get incorrect phone numbers. It's a part of this business. But since there's so many, eventually you're going to start connecting. You're going to get on the phone with the right person. It's one of your methods of contact, whether that's initial call, mailers, social media, somebody's going to respond. And then now you have to perform. You have to remain knowledgeable, professional, and an expert, and you can execute and get a deal. All right. You go through, you make the calls, nobody answers. A lot of people give up. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people, when they do their skip tracing, they will just look for that previous owner, give up. Whether they look up and see that the person was 98 and deceased, or they look up, they don't get any accurate phone numbers and they just give up. All right. So what you need to do is continue your research. All right. Just because you cannot find the accurate phone number for that person, that does not mean you can't go other avenues to get that phone number. What are the other avenues? Relatives. Okay. These are going to be people with common last names. So when you perform your skip tracing and you see the names of an individual and you see common last names, that's typically going to be their relative. All right. Now, when we're making these calls, we should be clicking on the individuals with the last name that are typically younger. And when I say younger, I honestly mean anybody 60 and below. Okay. These individuals are going to have higher phone number accuracy. Okay. So when you're doing your skip tracing and you have somebody that's 35, 47, you're going to get an accurate phone number majority of the time. When you have somebody in your skip tracing and you see they're 73 and 89 or whatever, that's very low probability. And the reason is those are older individuals that have landlines, and those go out so often they probably don't even switch over their phone, probably don't even have a way to really collect their information, because these skip tracing sites get the phone numbers from when people are inputting data on the phone. So if you're an older individual, you're not really on a phone or computer putting in your phone number. So I'm pretty sure if all of us on this call skip trace ourselves, we would see accurate phone numbers. But the only thing is in this business, typically we're dealing with older individuals from the age of 50 upwards to your 80s. So do not give up on that initial search. Look for relatives, look for younger relatives, and then when you communicate with them, offer the incentive. Okay, somebody who is a relative, just say, hey, look, we're really trying to get in contact with him. I just want to let you know, if you do assist us with this, we do have compensation for that. Just get them really interested and have a motive behind getting you the correct phone number. All you're asking for is a phone number. I had a lady I was even talking to today. She was like, oh, I'm getting sick of these calls all the time. And I was just like, man, if you could just give me the phone number, we can go ahead and end these calls. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take care of this claim, and then you won't have anybody contacting you anymore. How does that sound? She gave me the guy's phone number. So you definitely have to try to go through relatives to get that correct phone number. All right. You can also look up other information to help you find that phone number. Maybe you might look it up and the company associated with it. I looked at somebody the other day, and on the skip tracing, it showed the companies that he was associated with. Then now you can do further research. You can now figure out, okay, maybe I can call the employer, or maybe they own a business and I can call the business line. You have to be an investigator in this business. That's a part of it. We're an asset recovery agent. We perform investigation. We do audits on the county. We do research. You got to do a little bit of investigating. Okay. And that doesn't mean just skip trace and then give up. All right. Also, when we're on these calls, you should be leaving voicemails to accurate phone numbers. All right. So when we're contacting all these numbers, there's going to be invalid phone numbers that aren't even in service. When you get a correct one, of course, if they say, hello, this is John, leave a message, you're going to leave a voicemail. But even on the ones that just play that phone number, still leave a quick, short voicemail, because there's a chance that that could have been their accurate phone number. And when you're leaving this voicemail, you don't want to get too much information. You just want to keep it short and simple. I wouldn't even mention anything about a surplus or a remaining profit. I just say a claim in that county. Please get back to me. It's very important. You can stay short and sweet to it, however you want to say it, but you should be leaving those voicemails. All right. The next one is going to be text messages. Text messaging is a strategy in this business that a lot of people don't utilize, and they should. Okay. Especially when you call and you get their voicemail. If you get their voicemail, you're going to leave a voicemail, but you're also going to send a text message. All right. This text message can be simple as, hello, is this their first name? It can also be a short description of who you are, why you're calling, and how you can help them. All right. So sometimes if you know that that's the correct person and they're not responding to you, you might have to do your whole pitch over text message. All right. At least you have communication with them. You might have to just send over proof through text message, explain what you do, how the surplus came about, but leaving text messages is crucial as well. All right. And even an email. Okay. So when you do your skip tracing, you might see an email that makes sense. Maybe it's like first last name at gmail.com or something along the lines where you're like, hey, that probably is his email. Check it out. Send them an email. If it's a bad email, incorrect email, most likely it's going to bounce back. So just give it a shot and see if it works. But these are common mistakes in this business that a lot of people actually just, overlook. They have the mistake and then they don't move forward. They don't make the correction and then lead to higher probability of success. That's really what it comes down to in this business, is increasing your probability. It's a numbers game. We know we're contacting many, many people, so we have to increase the chances of getting in contact with them. And how can we get in contact with them? By doing the extra step. All right. Any questions with that last one?
No questions, but I do have a comment. Everything that you said was really accurate, because I actually practiced that. Actually, last year you told me text messaging. All I do sometimes is say, "Is this John or is this Mary?" And most people do hit me back. They'll say, "No, you have the wrong number." Sometimes when I catch them, they'll say, "Who is this?" And like you say, when they do that, you know that there's a great possibility that's the individual that you're looking for. But what you were describing, I kind of call it the extra mile, because I feel like you should exhaust every single avenue if you're looking for something, especially something that's substantial. I do everything that you just said. Plus, I look at the neighbors. I will call their job. When I first started doing this, I wouldn't call people's jobs. I just wouldn't, because I felt like I'd be bothering them. Maybe they're on their last leg on their job and I'm getting ready to help them get their pink slip. But then I started realizing, I'm in this to help these folks. If I call the job, and with all honesty, I'm calling to try to help them. And I do tag people at their jobs. Going the extra mile also means catching the neighbors. I've gotten a lot of information from neighbors. It also means looking at their Facebook. You can get a lot of information from Facebook, their Twitter. Being verified affords you a lot of ways, a lot of avenues to go about finding people. And a lot of times when I find something substantial, I will beat my brain and having headaches for a week, one single claim for a week. And then I'll say, okay, enough of this. I'll put it on the shelf. A month later, I'll come back to it. And I see something that I didn't see before. And that happened to me recently on a substantial claim. And I'm in the game now on that. So what I want to say is exhaust every avenue outside the box. Just find it. If you can see it, again, like I always say, if you can see it, you can get it. That's all I got on that.
Exactly. And you just dropped at least 5 gems right there, guys. So if you guys were listening to that, James just dropped some great information. Now, this is somebody who's had success. So for starters, looking up neighbors, that is crucial. You're going to get in contact with them, contacting the job. And then also the honesty in this business, we're literally helping them get money. When you think with that mindset that we're in this business to help them, you're going to feel better on your calls. Like James said, at first he was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. And if you're starting in this business, you might have that. Like I said, there's going to be some fear at the beginning, but if you get over that and really believe that we're helping individuals, your calls are going to go way smoother. So thanks for sharing that, James. That was great.
Oh yeah.